I will talk to you about the 5 biggest problems in the future, especially in the cities, how the cities and the countries will be able to give you the solution to this problem. One main introduction will be as urbanization speeds up, particularly in Europe and Latin America countries. Here are 5 of the biggest problems confronting the future of cities. Environment trends. About the rapid urbanization with extreme basic infrastructure couples with more frequent and extreme weather events likely to the global climate change, and exacerbating the impact of environmental threats, common environmental threats like including flooding, tropical cyclones, tropical storms, to which coastal cities are particularly vulnerable, heat waves and epidemics, owing to physical and population densities of cities. Such threats often result in both devastating financial loss and death, just just now we can see with the COVID-19 pandemic virus, that hurt to the financial loss and several deaths around the countries. Many cities are more resilient against these environmental threats. Is one of the biggest challenges faced by city authorities requires urgent attention. We can say other environmental problem in the future will be resources. Why resources? Well, cities need resources such as water, food, energy to be able. Urban sprawl reduce available water catchment areas. Why? Because how the population is growing, the catchment areas getting small, and the agriculture lands and increases demand for energy, while better application of technology can boost agriculture productivity and ensure more efficient transmission of electricity. Many cities in the countries will continue to struggle to provide this resource to an ever-growing urban population, like I told in the videos before, like Africa, like us in that position just now. We have problem in La Ceiba. Beyond these basic requirements for us, hazard goal will see the production, for example, of green spaces within cities, negatively affecting like ability as fresh water becomes scarce and fertile lands diminishes. Why? Because if we don't have to money water, the fertile lands diminish. Food prices, and when the fertile lands diminish, the food prices will go out and may escalate, hiding the poorest hardest. Other problem will be the cities has faced to in the future will be the inequality. Why the inequality? Because when it's coming to both the provision for basic resources, for example, a resilience against environmental threat, the forest is uneven for different groups and urban inhabitants. Like as a number of urban super rich, many cities will also see increased number of urban poor. We have rich people, but we have increased the rich poor too, urban poor. The widening gap between the haves and haves not will be accentuated in the megacities of the future. Such inequalities, for example, when with sharing food, with sharing water, is another inequality we can see between rich and poor people. When let will disstabilize society and open any benefits of urban development, there is a critical need for the policymaker to ensure that the fruits of progress are shared in equality. Other point is the technology. The technology will be increasingly used in the development of running a city. Why? Because, especially in the future, why? Because, for example, we have smart cars now. In the future, we will have smart cars. Technology can be la technology can be affect the traffic too, the gridlocs which plague many cities, and the use the environment to technology which can cool building more efficiently or run vehicles that are polluting will also lead to better future cities. Why is we have more technology help to the pollution? Well, because the car no will use gas anymore, will use energy, can be solar or can be electric. And the other one, the five, will be governance. Future cities offer immense possibilities to enrich the lives of the inhabitants, even as the challenges are stark. To make the best of innovative urbanization, good governance can be imperative. Cities will increase in size and their population becoming more diverse. Governing these cities will therefore be progressive and complex and require the most dedicated of minds. For me, like I say, is increasingly cities around the world are learning about how governing or how do the best governance and planning practices from one another, even as they remain accountable to their respective national governments, and to broad goals. And urban governance should address issues like equality, like liability, and sustainability in cities of the future. Thank you.